Sam Bradford. I thought it was going to Sam Bradford.
Yeah, you did. 16.
Alright guys, we are back. Couch Potato General Manager is the YouTube channel. We're here to talk about your team. We're here to talk about the New York Jets.
Jets.
There it is, got it. NFL Draft Recap 2019. And with the third pick overall, the New York Jets.
Best player in the draft.
Selected.
They get the best player in the draft.
Best player in the draft, Quinnen Williams from Alabama. He was the most dominant defensive player last season for Alabama. It reminded me a lot of the Leonard Williams draft, 2015 draft. They was at, I think, 6.
Yeah.
And they kept on passing on Leonard Williams, and the best player in the draft fell to them.
Mm-hmm.
Happened again with Quinnen Williams. Both of those guys on the line together. Offensive linemen, those guys, I don't think they're gonna be looking forward to those days, man.
Long day.
Mm-hmm. It's gonna be a whole lot of frustration on those days. You're talking about a guy who's basically a bully. You're talking about a guy who's gonna give you the best of both worlds between, you know, his speed, power, speed, and his disruption up front. Then you throw in a Leonard Williams. Then you behind that you throw in a C.J. Mosley. I mean, this defense is starting to become assembled, and it's starting to look like a beautiful thing, man.
You got that force on the back end too.
Jamal Adams.
Oh, and his partner in crime, Marcus May.
Marcus. But man, Quinnen, man, he's how he uses his upper body and lower body in unison. He just attacks. It doesn't seem like he's getting blocked. Even when he's getting blocked, he's getting to the quarterback. He's just too big, too strong, too fast, man.
Too quick. That athleticism at that size is it's tough to deal with. And we're talking about a 1-year starter, but who cares? You know, I mean, the proof is in the pudding in terms of the film. You know, and he, you know, as we mentioned, he's a top-ranked prospect according to the CPGM top 50. They get him at 3.
Didn't have a second-round pick, you know. Sam Darnold trade. Let's not forget who it went to. The Colts.
Mm-hmm.
Indianapolis Colts.
Yeah.
Went to the Colts.
Indianapolis
Colts. Y'all know that. Y'all know where it went. But had two third-round picks, and with the first third-round pick, they selected. I mean, essentially, they kind of got first-round talent, second-round talent in this pick. And how you say his name?
Jachai. That's your guy.
Jachai? I still don't know how to say it. I don't want to kill his name. I just know his last name's Polite. I know how to say that. I know how to spell it, too.
Yeah, his game is not polite, man. He's a guy that just plays with his head on fire, man. He's relentless. My analogy. He plays like a point guard, man. It's just the handles. He's just hard to stay in front of, man, because he's so twitchy. He can move around the edge. He could cut inside. He could cross you over, man. He just hunts the quarterback. I know there's a lot of talk about the pre-draft process, the interviewing. What's up with Florida interviewing skills, man? I heard Gardner Johnson fell because of his interviewing skills also. I need a coach over there?
Nah, man. These boys' agents ain't coaching them up, bro. Don't try to put it on the school, bro.
Not in the school?
No,
Are you sure?
Yeah, positive.
All right.
So whatever the case is, man, he didn't do good in his combine, the pro day, fell to the third round, but this guy's a first-round talent. I think he was, top
12th.
Our 12th ranked prospect, so that's how highly we think of him. So getting Quinnen Williams and Jachai Polite to rush the quarterback, I think the Jets are in a good place.
He won't be expected to play every down.
Yeah.
He's more of a situational guy out of the gate. But again, you know, the name of the game defensively is affecting the quarterback, and this guy has that ability. He has that ability. You mentioned it, you alluded to it, his lack of preparation, for lack of a better term, and certainly not being there ourselves in terms of the interview process, combine, pro day. It's a little concerning. You worry about maturity. Now we're going to give him, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions of dollars. Yeah. Is he going to be able to grow up and be a professional, approach it professionally? You talked about, you know, one of the concerns was that he's not, you know, evaluating film of himself. He's not evaluating his opponent. That's a problem. Yeah. That's not going to fly.
Those are the guys that flame out.
Absolutely.
You can't just rely on
talent alone, which he has an abundance of. There's no question about that. I think here in the third round, it's a steal in terms of the upside associated with the pick.
Second, third round pick, 92nd pick overall. They chose offensive tackle from USC, Chuma Edoga. You know, when I go and I look at the tape, active hands, hands and feet are in sync. Has a lot of pop, a lot of bounce, and you know, he's a guy willing to mix it up. And also, you know, one of his issues is that he's overly aggressive. He whiffs more than you'd like him to whiff, but I can work with a guy who has nice feet and hands and is willing to put his head in there and lay pads, point of attack kind of guy. Just got to work on that run game because it's...
Yeah. Pass protection potential, quick off the snap, like you said, uses his hands well. It's just his leverage and his base. You know, you got to hit the weight room. This guy has to hit the weight room, get stronger. You saw him at the Senior Bowl, man. What do you think about it?
I was actually impressed. I think with the professional coaching, I saw some things I really started to like. He started to kind of correct some of the things. Of course, getting in the weight room, you know, improving the functional strength, I think that'll happen. You get with that strength and conditioning coach, that'll take care of that. But I thought with the professional coaching and the way they utilize him, I was impressed. His movement skills are really impressive. The pass set is quality. He just needs more coaching, a little bit more time to develop. But I think he'll turn into a decent starter.
Yeah, I know some people think that he might slide inside the guard, but this guy's a tackle, man.
Yeah, I think with that athleticism and his hands, I think he does belong at tackle. He's gonna have to be patient on him, but I think it's worth the investment. I really do.
All right, the 4th round, 121st pick, they selected tight end from West Virginia, Trevon Wesco.
Yeah, the question is he going to be the tight end or the fullback, man? Because
it's more the latter. There was a question, you know, in terms of the draft profiles, you know, Noah Fant, T.J. Hawkins said 2 first-round picks out of Iowa. Where's the U? Well, the U is in New York. Chris Herndon was the best rookie tight end last season. All right, so he's not taking any Chris Herndon snaps.
You sure?
He's going to play fullback.
You sure?
Yeah.
Because the notes I have for Trevon Wesco is that he's a blocker. Okay, that's I mean.
You need that, and you know, fullbacks are people too. That's the way I feel. You know, give me 2 backs. Put Le'Veon Bell in that eye. You know what I mean? That'll make Darnold better.
Yeah. Facts.
In the 5th round, 157th pick, they selected a guy I like, inside linebacker, Blake Cashman from Minnesota. And watching his tape, this is the kind of guy that I want on my team, that because he's the type of player, he's going to be where he's supposed to be. This is a plug and play guy. You don't have to worry about that, bro. You're supposed to be over. No, he's going to be there. He may not necessarily make the play because he's not athletic enough. He's not fast enough. He can't jump the highest, although he did have a good combine.
Yeah, excellent combine.
But on tape, it didn't look like he was that type of player.
Right.
But he's where he's supposed to be, and when you think about the New England Patriots, and I hate to bring them up, you know, it was an AFC East, I'm sorry, opponent, you know, Super Bowl winners, whatever, but they have a bunch of guys who do that, are where they're supposed to be, so that way the stars can be stars and don't have to worry about everything else. So
yeah, man, this guy's a gritty, tough football player. He plays with a chip on the shoulder. I think he was a walk-on. And he worked his way up the depth chart, eventually starting and having a great season, his senior season. So
became the captain.
Yeah, became the captain. So yeah, man, it's a kind of blue-collar guy that you want on your football team. Is going to help out in special teams also.
My only question, not necessarily about Cashman per se, but what is the Darren Lee? What's going on there? What's the plan associated with him? You know. Jets fans, we might need your help with that one. You know, I don't know that by bringing in Cashman that automatically means Lee is going to be shown the door per se, but
he's on the trade block.
He has been on the trade block, and you know you're going to be playing what we anticipate to be a 3-4 look. You know, I don't know that Darren Lee necessarily fits. You know, and him being a younger player, you know, with the even man front, I think weak side linebacker. I think teams would be interested, especially in his ability to cover in this passing league. So
phone call.
It's interesting. It's interesting to see. Again, I don't expect Cashman to be the guy that ultimately is the decision. We have Blake Cashman now, so Lee is out the door.
Plus they brought in C.J. Mosley. They got Avery Williamson. So those are your starting.
Those are your inside guys right there. So
where's he play?
He's in limbo now.
He's in limbo.
Yeah. All right, with their 6th round pick, 196th pick, the Jets selected Blessuan Austin, cornerback. I don't know if I said his name right. If hit me.
Bless him.
He's a cornerback from Rutgers, and you ever play Madden and you got the injury prone, the little symbol, the Band-Aid? That was back in the day. I don't do that anymore, right? Yeah, it was back in the day.
I remember the 12, man. That was the lowest, right? 12 injury.
Yeah.
It was. That's
Damn, who had the 12? Who had the 12?
Yeah, Mr. Austin. Just a bunch of knee injuries. He was supposed to actually go to Ohio State. So coming out of high school, that says a lot, right?
Yeah.
His athletic prowess and all that, but he got injured again, and they're like, "Yo, we can't take that. We got to give that scholarship to somebody else." So he ended up going to Auburn. Couldn't even play at Auburn when he first got there. Got hurt again. Knee injury. The knees aren't good. But when he did play, there was a lot of pass deflections.
Mm-hmm.
There was some sacks, and there was some interceptions. So he's a playmaker. But again, he was the very last pick. He's a developmental player. Only because he was injured. Who knows how good he actually would have been?
It's worth the risk. It's low risk. He's tall, athletic. He's kind of like a Tremaine Johnson on the other side, man. So measurable seems to be along the lines of what the Jets are looking for opposite of Tremaine Johnson. And I think that's one of the biggest questions on the Jets roster right now. They shored up the defensive line. They shored up the linebacker position. It's about the cornerback. I know they added Brian Poole.
Mm-hmm.
He's more of a slot corner. Mm-hmm. Who's playing? I know they drafted Perry Nickerson last season.
Flashed a little bit.
Yeah. So that's the question mark on the Jets roster right now to me.
Hella, you mentioned it. The Jets, this offseason have really bolstered their roster in terms of the talent. Just the talent level. That was an issue last year. There's no question about it. They had a dearth of talent. That isn't the case anymore. They had some pieces, but certainly they via free agency with Le'Veon Bell, obviously, C.J. Mosley coming in, Jamison Crowder adding him, Osmelly, the trade with the Raiders. They've certainly bolstered the roster from that perspective. My question obviously goes back to the quarterback, and the Jets fans, I know you guys are encouraged based on the way he ended last season. There's reason to be encouraged. It's the coaching staff. It's not even just the coaching staff, it's just the front office. There seems to be friction already. In terms of Greg Williams, he has a certain kind of, he has a reputation, and Adam Gase and Mike McCagnon, and what the hell is going on? I mean, you can't afford that. You've invested heavily on both sides of the ball. You're expecting to compete, all right? You're expecting to be in the thick of things in a landscape in the AFC that is changing. You can't have it. I mean, you're supposed to be in a honeymoon phase. How the hell are you already having issues?
I don't know how you put these guys together and think that there isn't. I mean, Greg Williams is
we know what we're getting from Greg Williams. We know he can be a little bit difficult to deal with personality wise. Might rub some people the wrong way. You're bringing in Greg Williams for his defensive know-how. So my thought process is you go through the interview process. You've seen what this guy has done historically. Mm-hmm. All right. You should understand how you need to deal with him. Now, I understand you're trying to set a tone or whatever the case may be, but these are grown men. Like, what's the problem?
Let me ask you something.
I think he's a GM, man.
You ever in life maybe you're in this situation, or maybe you're outside of it, but you're watching it, and it's complete chaos, but everything is running smoothly. Have you ever seen it? Because I've seen chaos, complete chaos, but everything is just fine.
You're talking about the end result.
No, I'm talking about the entire, just the process. Like it's chaos over here. Okay, so you go into a store, okay, and the store is clean, it's fresh, the shelves are full. Mm-hmm. But you walk in that back room, somebody getting fired.
Okay.
You feel me?
You can't even take inventory.
No, nothing. It's a disaster. But the floor, they good. And so I think some people like to function in that chaos, but when they walk out onto the floor, and by the floor I mean game day.
You know what I mean? There's a tendency for the stuff in the back room, the chaos in the back room, to spill out onto the showcase floor. There's a tendency for that to happen. Heather, you mentioned that you think it's the GM. I don't know what your problem is. I don't know what your problem is. Like your problem, you pick the players, or in conjunction with the coaches, you stockpile this roster, which again we've acknowledged that they've done a good job of that. What's the problem? Now it's up to the coaches to coach them up, put them in position to be successful. It's a bit of an oversimplification, but that's something that I'm going to be looking at, throughout this season. Storyline for the Jets. It should be about Le'Veon Bell's return. It should be about Sam Darnold. What we think could be a really good defense, at least in terms of the front seven. But we're talking about the GM and the coaches.
It's New York. Let us know what you think about your front office. Let us know what you think about the players that you drafted, the free agency. Hit us in the comments section. JET.
That's
Jets.
2 extra 3
I
extra
gotta
Jets.
throw because I own them. I own them because
Okay.
a couple seasons ago I didn't
Alright.
even throw the S in there. I said they were gonna be a train wreck, and then they fought for top bowls, but we won't go back that far. But anyways, let us know how you feel about your team. That is draft recap, NFL draft recap for the New York Jets 2019 Black Strikeout.
Is in the building.
In the 5th round, they selected
Yeah, they did. You gotta work it in there.
I'm committed.